Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Good evening, friends. My name is Johnathan. I'm a grateful alcoholic.
Johnathan.
Attraction rather than promotion. This is probably the best looking group of sick people I've ever seen, though. I gotta say that. No, it's good to be in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous tonight, and I'd just like to say welcome to our new friends that are here tonight. Maybe you know you're an alcoholic, maybe you think you're an alcoholic, maybe you don't even know what an alcoholic is, but you're here tonight, and you might hear something read or said tonight or this weekend that might just save your life, and I'm glad you're in this room. I was nervous on my way over here. I've been working for the last couple days, like out in the sun and like just trying to lots of water, and I'm driving home to get ready for tonight, and I'm falling asleep at the wheel. Right? I mean, there's traffic. I'm like on a Saturday, and there's traffic, and I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like I got to get there, and then my friends are texting me like, where are you? And then and Chelsea's like, oh, I'm in the overflow room, right? And I'm like, for the meeting I'm speaking at, like, are you overflow room? Like, what? And Pat was like, nah, dude, there's no overflow room for you. And I was like, right on. But, it's funny. And I'm going to tell you this, because I'm sitting up here and I was going to edit some stuff. And they were like, no, don't edit it. You know what I mean? Because it's the Orange County Convention. And, I better set my watch. All right. Okay. I'm just going to tell you guys, I'm not a circuit speaker. I'm just a guy in AA that's been sober a while. I don't practice my pitch. I don't stand in front of a mirror, record. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy that you're going to be like, let's get him. Like, I'm a guy, I have experience and I have opinions, and I'm just going to share with you like what it's been like for me. And that's just what I'm going to do. And I cuss sometimes. Like I said, I have opinions. If you guys disagree, that's fine. You guys have sponsors. You can talk to me afterwards. It's cool. But and I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Orange County Convention tonight too, because this is kind of like a really big deal that this meeting's even going on here. But I'm going to tell you guys that the message of Alcoholics Anonymous for me just kind of like comes out. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I get done talking, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm saying. But when I listen to other people, when I was new and I was going to speaker meetings, I listened to people talk, and it always upset me, and it still upsets me today when I'm in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous and I hear someone say, I'm not going to share what it was like because we all know what it was like. I'm just going to share what it's like today. And that would upset me, because I would think when I was new, I couldn't relate with how your sober life was. If you didn't share with me what it was like, I couldn't relate to your solution. I didn't know it. I couldn't relate to you working the steps. I hadn't done it. And so when I came to Alcoholics Anonymous and I would go to meetings and I would listen to people talk about what it was like for them, that's when I said, I drank like that, or I did that, or I felt like that, or I thought like that. And for me, it was vitally important to understand that you and me are the same. One alcoholic talking to another. The magic of Alcoholics Anonymous. And if all I heard was how great your lives were, I would have hightailed it out of that room and said, F you. F you, man. Because I'm ready to put a bullet in my head. I'm ready to check out. And if all you're going to talk about is this, can't do it. And it's funny, I got I read books, and I got like audio books and stuff. I'm one of those guys that, I like to check out different things. And I got this book, 'cause sometimes I'd get angry, right? I used to be really angry. I'm still sometimes angry. And And so I got this audiobook, right, on my phone. It was like some Buddhist guy talking about like how to not have fear and anger. And I download this thing and I'm all stoked. And then I realized the recording was him like at some retreat, you know what I mean? And this guy's talking for like an hour. And I was pissed because this guy was so peaceful and he had never known the kind of anger that I'd known. And I'm like, fuck this guy, man. Like this guy's never wanted to kill someone. This guy's never wanted to rip someone's brain out their nose. You know what I mean? This guy doesn't know. I can't relate to this guy. Delete. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta relate. And I need the truth, and we're smart. And frothy emotional appeal will not suffice. It will not suffice. I can't just sit here and try and like rile you guys up. It won't work. And we can see through it most of the time. Sometimes we can't. We come into AA, and a lot of times people are trying to look the worst. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to start right now. Like, me and my sponsor, we have a lot of the same ideas. Not all of them. We have a lot of ideas. You know what I mean? So sometimes there are similarities we just get passionate about. We get passionate about AA. And it's okay if you're in here tonight and you're not an ex-convict. If you are or aren't, it's okay. We're glad you're here. If you've ever done drugs or haven't done drugs, it doesn't matter. We're glad that you're here. We need everyone here. We need you guys here, but sometimes everyone wants the new people. They go, oh, like the worse I look, the cooler I am. You know what I mean? You're in rehab, and it's like, all right, what's the worst story in rehab? If I could be the biggest fuck up, I'm going to be the coolest kid. You know what I mean? And it's like, whatever your story is that's what it is. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a bad story. I don't. Like, my bottom sucks. Like, when I get to that point, I was like, later on, I was like, fuck, dude, that was so anticlimactic. Like, I can't fake it. I can't angle that story for anyone to go, oh my God. They just go, that was it? You know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, the exciting part comes when I got sober, because that's really when I messed stuff up. But it's like, when I got sober, I was going to old-timers meetings. Where these guys were talking about, like, blacking out in fighter jets over Vietnam and coming to. And they were like, are we going to or coming from, man? Because I still got some missiles left. You know what I mean? I was like, I can't compete with that. You know? I can't. Like, I was in my room the whole time listening to Ice Cube. I wasn't flying jets. Anyway, so I'm glad to be here tonight. This is going to be good. So I'm going to tell you guys what it was like for me. All right. So trust me, it's going to be a little bit boring for you because it was boring for me. So I'm sorry you're going to have to relive it. But I'm not going to dwell on it because I really want to talk about what, you know, like, here's what it was like, here's what happened, and then here's what it's like sober, man. Because it's some magical stuff. You know what I mean? And if you don't know what is possible, if you don't know what the gifts of the program can be, you know, it's almost like, what's the point? Because it's like, yeah, you and me are the same, but you didn't blow your head off. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, what's so good about your freaking life today? So it's like, I'm just going to share what's in my life. Maybe you think my life sucks, but whatever, like, that's cool. I'm up here in the suit and the tie. So what it was like for me, I grew up in Arcadia, right? I know, no one knows where Arcadia is. It's this little town. You do. Yeah, it's over by Pasadena. Yeah, they got a racetrack, right? And that's great when you're a kid, you know, drinking beers, betting on the ponies. And it's like, and I grew up in Arcadia, and there's nothing to do. They got an arboretum, which is a great place to, like, hide or grow pot, okay? And they got peacocks. You know, peacocks just, like, roam around and shit, and it smells. And it's like, it's boring. There's nothing to do. I had a mom and a dad and a sister. We had a dog and a cat and, like, a little bunny. You know what I mean? It was like, it was just total, just, like, so generic. Like, they're, like my parents didn't drink, they didn't smoke, they didn't cuss. Like, it was just like, we used to go to church every Sunday until I became unpresentable. You know what I mean? It was one of those kinds of things. Like mom would stay at home, like an artsy kind of lady doing stuff, and like my dad was like a business guy, always going off to the office. And it's like, and I had a good family. I have a good family. I have really good parents, a great sister. You know, I've got a grandma and a grandpa. It's just a great family. But for a kid like me, I missed it all. Because my sister's nothing like me. You know what I mean? Like, she figured it out. Like, I didn't know what she figured out, but I was like, she got it figured out. And, like, I just grew up in this environment where I didn't get it. I didn't get anything. I would go to school and be like, what are you guys doing? I don't understand. Like, you guys come back with homework done? Like, how does that happen? Like, people are throwing footballs and talking to girls, and I'm just like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, everything just seemed like intense, you know? Like, I remember I was a kid, and I was laying down in the backseat of my mom's Cadillac, and she's taking me to the park, and I'm looking up out of the window at the clouds, contemplating the meaning of life. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have the vocabulary to, like, actually process stuff, but I'm like, white, fluffy, what if gravity didn't exist? You know what I mean? And it's like, growing up, I just didn't have the vocabulary. I didn't even know what was going on inside, like, Johnathan's little brain to be like, yo, check it, like, adults. Like, here's what's going on. And so I just kind of like skated through, you know, and I didn't have a lot of friends. The friends I had were weirdos, man. They were either like people that just did not live in my neighborhood. That was kind of like later on. Or there's this one kid who was a total nerd genius, and we used to like make explosives and shoot birds, you know what I mean? And he was like the other kid that didn't have a friend. So we just kind of like gravitated towards each other, and like, I think today he like works for the CIA. He's a smart fucker. Anyways, so like I'm skating through, right? And I'm watching movies and TV, and I'm trying to get like this, you know, idea of like what life is. And I didn't know that you go to school, you get grades. I didn't even know how to do homework. You know what I mean? I used to climb up over the fence and throw it over the fence every day, because I was like, why? I'm home. Whatever. Like, what are you gonna do? Kick me out? Please. Like, I want to stay home and watch, you know, TV all day. Like, whatever. So somehow, and this is like a non-drinking, smoking family, right? Like, my sister started to go to parties, and like I kind of was hanging out with some people, and I went and I got drunk for the first time at this party, and I'm throwing up, and it's bad, and this dude drove me home, and I was like, no, come on, I want to stay. And he's like, oh, dude, you got to get out of here. And then like I'd tell my sister, like, I want to go to these parties, and she'd take me to these parties, and I'd get drunk. Everyone wanted to see the little cute kid get drunk, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, we're trying to get home real fast before mom and dad finds out. And I remember like walking down the hall, bouncing off the walls, and then like I couldn't walk, so I was crawling. I'm looking at like the red shag carpet, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is awesome. Like, I felt so good. And that was like the pinnacle of my sobriety right there. Like, everything was just okay. Because I was numb, but I hadn't really created a lot of like drinking problems yet. You know what I mean? I didn't have any of that wreckage to like drink about yet. So it's like I started to do that. And my sister, after a while, she was like, I'm not taking you to these parties, bro. Like, I got more dirt on you than you got on me, so like no more for you. So she cut me off, and I was like, fuck, you know? And I'm a little kid. I'm like 12, 13 years old. You know, I don't have any pimp skills. I can't go to 7-Eleven and pimp some beer. I can't even talk to girls or friends. Like, I don't have any game, you know what I mean? I'm not like kids today where I got it all figured out. So it's like, I'm trying to like, I'm seriously, like, me and this kid, we'd get like Lipton iced tea bags and like smoke those out of tinfoil, you know what I mean? I'm not kidding, and like that shit burns, you know, in an arcade it gets hot, and you're just like, fuck my life, like, are you high? Oh yeah, dude, I'm way high, fuck, give me another. We're smoking erasers, banana peels, chewing tobacco, you know what I mean, we were putting cigarettes in bongs, trying to see, like, we're looking for anything to get it. And I meet this cat, right? I'm at the school one day, by myself, I'm just looking for trouble. And there's this guy, and he looks like trouble, and I was like, this guy's gonna be my friend. And sure enough, when we came together and we were like, what's up? And he lived in County, which is a little strip of land between Arcadia and Pasadena. No, it's Arcadia and some other town I don't even know, but like no one wants a strip of land. It's like the sheriffs don't even patrol there anymore, you know what I mean? And he lived there, and he was a dropout, and his parents didn't care. And he was like, come on over. I'm like, sounds good to me. So it's like off I went, and I go to the house, and his parents, let me tell you what's going on over at this guy's house, okay? His parents are drinking constantly, smoking weed, growing weed, cleaning shotguns like it's no big deal on the kitchen table, okay? Mom stabbed dad, and then back and forth at some point, and the cops for cheating. I don't know. It was just chaos, and I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I've arrived. Like, you guys, this is it. I'm going to be over here all the time. And they told me straight up, they were like, check it. Just don't make the cops come here, because we make him come here enough, but you don't make the cops come here, and we're good. I was like, cool. And because his parents were always plastered, I could always go pinch their beer or their sack. You know what I mean? And let me talk about, I'm going to talk about drugs for a second, right? And anyone that gets offended, just check yourself, okay? Because here's the thing. No, I'm serious. And it's on both sides of the coin. It's on both sides of the coin, right? Because I used to go to this meeting, and they'd be like, you can't even say anything other than alcohol here. You can't even mention that. And I was like, wait, hold on. Don't tell me about you beating your old lady and about all the banks you ripped off if I can't mention how I used to smoke pot. That's not what it's about. And don't come up here and say I used to do outside issues, because that's not what the tradition is talking about. Now, if I was going to sit up here and dwell on it and make it so that me as an alcoholic can't relate with you and you as an alcoholic can't relate with me, now I'm not carrying the message of Alcoholics Anonymous, but when I was new and there were plenty of old-timers that were around, there's a certain balance you could find to it, and you could find it. So I'm not going to dwell on it, but it's part of my story, okay? It's not an outside issue. I used to smoke pot, okay? All right? And chances are a lot of you did too. So anyway, so I'm smoking pot, and I'm learning how to grow, right? Because like, huh? Yeah, and I'm learning how to grow because his mom's like, like, you know, my kids aren't willing to, like, take on the family business. Next thing you know, I'm growing weed. And I'm like, woohoo, I'm like 13 growing weed, you know what I mean? Which really came in handy later on. Anyways, so I'm getting loaded with these guys. And I don't know how I went through school. School was just like, man, I don't get you guys because I can't wait for school to be over. So I'm going to go to my friend's house. Because you don't know what's going on at my friend's house, but it's good stuff. And I'm going to go have fun over there. And these guys are hanging out with gangs in bad areas, doing bad things to good people. You know what I mean? And that's just how it rolled. And what happened is, because I didn't have a good idea on life, I was just like, dude, till the wheels fall off, man. Like, I'm not graduating. If I do, fuck it, dude. I'm not going to graduate anything else. Like, I'm probably going to die doing this. I didn't have a dream. I didn't have any of that, okay? So I was just going and I was having fun. And this is the kind of drinker that I am. I'm the kind of guy, when they'd say, if I'm at the house and we're drinking, I'm stoked, right? Because I'm at the house. But if they go, hey, we're going to go to the party, I'm like, ugh. I ain't got to go to the party, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you go to the party, there's going to be people there. People there you don't know. Well, I don't know how to talk to people I don't know. What else is going to be like? Girls, right? Oh, I don't want to talk to girls. You know what I mean? What are they're going to want me to do stuff like, you know, brush my hair, you know what I mean? Clean my teeth, take a shower, you know what I mean? I don't want to talk to you, because when I'm hammered, there's nothing a girl has that's going to make me feel better than when I'm hammered. So what's the point? Because I didn't even care about impressing people back then. I started to not take care of myself, you know. I wouldn't shower very often. I don't even think I ever really showered very often until I got sober. It was just kind of like one of those, like, you can smell me too? Oh, well. And like the whole brushing, like I was just not a groomed kid. But so like we go to these parties and all I wanted to do was drink. I wanted to get hammered. I didn't want to talk to you. You're getting in the way. I want to drink until oblivion. And if I throw up, fuck it. Drink more. You know what I mean? And I don't brush my teeth in between. You know what I mean? Give it a gargle, spit it out, off you go. I'm the kind of guy to get a bottle of vodka and put it outside, get it nice and warm. You know what I mean? Opens up the capillaries. You get fucked up faster. That kind of guy. I'm not to throw something in the fridge. Let's warm it up. Let's warm it up. Let's do this, right? So I'm drinking for oblivion. Now somehow, and again, it's not eventful, but it was just a lot of like, I want to get hammered. And somehow I graduated high school. I don't even know how that happened. I graduated. I moved to Orange County because my sister moved down to Orange County to go to college. She was going to OCC, right? So I'm going to, follow in line. I'm going to move down to OCC, move down to Orange County, go to OCC, and I'm going to become the Ferris Bueller of Huntington Beach. That's what's going to happen, right? Because I surf. Meanwhile, like I've been surfing and skating. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. And see, that stuff like that doesn't really matter. But like I was surfing, I was skating, I was like into like heavy metal and like playing guitar and drums and just wanted to like wreck shit. You know what I mean? And it's like I got the Dogtown guys because I was like, yeah, surf and fight. Like that makes sense. But so it's like I come down to Orange County, dude, and I'm going to college, and again, like I didn't get the talk. Like I was missing it then. Like there was no talk of like you take certain classes and you graduate. I was taking electives, you know what I mean? I was taking like night classes. I'm sitting in the back of my PJs, which are scrubs, reading High Times in like, marine science class. I'm just like, this is fucking rad. Like, I'm in college. Because my dad, he was like, go to school, get good grades, and I'll flip the bill. And I was like, party, I'm gonna die, yeah. So it's like, people we were living with, it was my sister, her boyfriend, her friend, and then like the girl's mom, who's this MILF, and she would always go cop for me. I'd be like, yo, pick me up a handle, and bam, she'd come back. And I was just drinking, I was having fun, right? But see, here's the thing. Now I'm going to rewind. So you understand that's how I drank. Meanwhile, the whole time from when I was a kid, and I was like, I don't get it, what happened is I started to hurt. I started to hurt in a way I couldn't describe. And as time went on, I would hurt more and more and more, and it started to go deeper inside. And it was a pain that I couldn't understand. But it was a pain that would always start to go away or come down a little bit when I was drinking. Now, I didn't put that together when I was drinking because I was just drinking to drink and get hammered. I didn't put it together. If I knew that, I probably would have killed myself drinking because I just wanted to make the pain go away. Thank God I didn't make that connection. But that pain, it grew and grew and grew. And by the time I had moved down to Orange County, I believe I was 18, and the pain was so great that I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, what's the point? Like, yeah, I can get drunk, and it's fun, and I can go surf, and I live at the beach, but I just don't understand what the point is. Because really, I think you're a loser. I look at you, and I don't understand your life. I don't understand how you dress. how you got that car, how you got that job. It's a mystery. And there's no way that I'm going to figure it out. I used to play sick a lot, and I thought that I missed that day of school where they handed out the manual to life. And like everyone was like, Monty didn't get it, he's so screwed. You know what I mean? Like, I always thought that's why they were laughing at me. And then later on I found out it was for all the real reasons. But I thought I missed it and I wasn't gonna get it. And I'm sitting there and I'm hurting and it hurts so bad and there's no solution. There's no solution, and the other people that I know that drink like me, like they're dying and they're doing whatever. And it's like there wasn't any solution out there for me. There was no talk of anything. And it hurt so bad, and I would just sit there thinking how to kill myself. I used to get tacks and put them in my fingers and just squeeze and look at the blood and think to myself, that pain I get. But this, I don't have a fucking clue. Just sit there and try and understand some kind of pain and just try and drink it away. So what happened is I didn't know what alcoholism was. The only thing I knew of alcoholism is in the 80s, there was this thing called SHIC. It was a treatment facility thing. And there was these people in like, remember that? It was like these like monks' robes and they'd pass candles. I'm so-and-so and I'm an alcoholic. And I'm so-and-so and I'm an alcoholic, right? That's all I knew. I was like, monks must drink a lot. You know, like, thank God for them. They got something. But I didn't know what alcoholism was. So here's the what happened is that I was taking this class and this teacher was like, hey, like we have these people come in our office and like we all talk, and I was just like, nah, like you're kind of weird. And she would always be like, hey, come on in, and she was a pretty cool teacher because she had a real fucked up story. And one day this cute girl walked in our class and I followed her. I don't know why. I don't know what I was going to do. I smell and I can't talk to girls, but I just like instinctively followed her ass into the office. And then next thing I know, everyone's gone and it's just me and the teacher, and she's like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. Now you got to see, I don't have a speech prepared. I don't have the vocabulary. I'm not waiting for the day that someone goes, what's wrong with you? I didn't know. I just didn't know. And she was like, what's going on? And I was just like, you know, it hurts, man. It fucking hurts. And I don't know. And she knew I was drinking. Everyone knew I was drinking. I smell like alcohol and vomit and piss. You know what I mean? All right, one more funny story about me drinking, then I'll get back to what happened, because Pat told me to talk about the peeing. Anyways, I'm the kind of guy, I'd be like, you know, a case back in Budweiser, and I'd come to in my room, and I'd just be like, oh yeah, I gotta pee. Whew. Bathroom's down the stairs. Yeah, fuck it, I'll just go right here. And I would pee the bed, because it feels good when you're drunk. You do stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you made out with an ugly person when you're drunk? You know what I mean? But I'd pee the bed and be like, oh, it feels so good. And it does, you know. And then, you know, I'd try and pass out before it goes cold kind of thing. And I'd wake up in the morning and be like, God damn it, you know. And my sister is like, man, like, he never showers, but he sure does wash his sheets. So anyway, so she knew. And here's the thing, is this teacher, her husband was Alcoholics Anonymous. And she knew enough about Alcoholics Anonymous to know how to talk to someone, because she had seen her husband do it. And she was talking to me that same way. And this lady's not an alcoholic. And she told me that there was a better way. And I told her how I wanted to kill myself, and I just couldn't go on living the way I was living. And I just didn't have the vocabulary, but she got it. She'd been getting it so long as I was in her class. And she, because I was like pretty crazy, she was like, you probably need professional help. And you might want to go to meetings as well. And so I went and I saw this like therapist, and I was like, what's the fucking point? I want to kill me. I want to take a bunch of people out doing it. You know, what's the deal? And years later, she had told me that legally she probably should have like had me locked up for that, but she knew like it's not what I needed. And it was through talking with her, and then this lady's husband was like, you know, hey, like, you know, here are some meetings. Here's where we go. And I remember I wanted to like impress her, that my teacher friend, she was like, get 30 days. So I got 30 days. I remember I was going to a couple meetings, just white knuckling it. No real, I hadn't really like connected with her husband yet. I was just kind of like, I got 30 days. And I was like, I got 30 days, woohoo. And I drank. She was like, you missed the point, dude. And I was just like, what? She's like, listen in the meetings. And so it's like I'm talking to this professional of the mind arts, and then I'm coming to AA. And I was kind of bouncing in and out for a little bit. And I was listening to the way you guys drank, and I got it. I was like, you guys drank the same way. I mean, there were a lot of differences. Like, I don't fly jets over Vietnam in blackouts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that guy. But I get the, you know, when I was like, you pissed your bed too? Ha ha. You know what I mean? And all, you know, you throw up and like, you know, swallow a little bit back down, like, hey, like whatever. Like, you know, I was like, okay, you know, and the feelings and the fear and all that other stuff. I was like, you guys get it. Like your solution and the steps seem so unattainable, but I'm ready to off myself. So let's do this. And I still hadn't quite hit my bottom yet. Because here's the thing, not knowing that I had a problem, it was just kind of like, I could just kind of like muster it up. But I had heard you guys talk about when you try and stop. See, I'd never tried to stop before. And then I tried to stop a couple of times, and it goes so well. And I remember this one night, and this is my big anticlimactic bottom, is I was working, I always wanted to work in the film industry on like in production. I was working this gig, and it was really cool, and it was a huge opportunity. And it was the kind of thing where I had to be there like first guy in the morning, last guy to leave. And like you can't mess up in this kind of deal. And I remember I came home from work, I was exhausted, and the girl that lived upstairs to me was like, dude, I got some big mouth Mickeys. And there wasn't any thought of like, I have this great opportunity. I have to work. I have to do anything. It was just like, bam, I was upstairs. And that's the last thing I remember. I don't remember anything that took place that night. And I liked blackouts. They were fun. I didn't have to have a conscience about it. I didn't have a lot of friends, so there wasn't a whole lot of stories coming back at me. But I just remember coming to the next day, hours late.
To obtain additional copies, receive a free catalog of AA and Al-Anon talks, or to find out about our tape and CD of the Month Club, call Encore Audio Archives at 1-800-878-1308 or visit our website at www.12steptapes.com.
And I just sat up at the edge of my bed, and I just thought, like, how long has this been going on? And I looked back over my life, and I thought, man, this has been going on a long time. This has been going on a long time, but I've just been throwing this thing away. And I got this solution in front of me. I don't know if it's going to work for me, but I'm going to give it a hell of a shot. And I called that man, and I asked him to be my sponsor, and we started going to meetings. And see, I was 2 weeks before my 19th birthday, and there were a lot of young people that were staying sober. I didn't know you were out there. The old-timers got together, and they said, should we tell them? They said, nah, fuck it. Let them find out later on. So I'm going to Icebreakers on Wednesday night. I'm going to Seal Beach Speaker on Monday. I'm going to the Costa Mesa Lana Club every day. My sponsor said, you're going to go to a meeting every single day. You're going to call me every single day, and you're going to tell me what you did the day before, what you're doing that day, and what you're going to be doing the next day, so I could start to understand what you're doing with your fucked up life. And he said, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do Alcoholics Anonymous, and I don't care what you think, and I don't care what you feel. All I care is what you do. And that hurt my feelings. I was like, come on. And it was funny, too, because my first sponsor, his voice was like Dr. Drew. You know what I mean? It was that kind of like loving, therapeutic kind of thing. Like if Kim could have hold of him, I'd just listen to Love Lines. Like, anyway, so it's like he had like that soft, loving kind of voice, even though he was like straight up. But so what happened is like I came into AA and I got wrapped up with these old timers. And these old timers, they schooled me proper like, and they gave me a foundation in Alcoholics Anonymous. All right, I got like 20 minutes, right? Yeah. When do I end? Up here? 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Yeah. Fuck, man, come on. Anyways, all right. So these guys gave me a foundation, Alcoholics Anonymous, and this is what they taught me, is that the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, as it says, is the basic text. A text, like a textbook used in the teaching process, to transfer information from one individual to another. And I didn't understand the importance or the context of the big book, but what these guys told me, and these guys were really old then, they said, look, Johnathan, what we have is we have the experience of the alcoholics that's in this book, and we have their stories. And you have us, but we're getting old and we're going to die, and we can tell you what we've done. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to learn how to stay sober as a man on your own, within Alcoholics Anonymous, with what we have here, with the principle and the program. And what that means isn't that I'm alone in AA, but what that means is that I'm responsible for my own sobriety. I've had a lot of different home groups. I've had a lot of different friends. I've had different sponsors. I've kind of floated around the rooms of AA, and I as I've gotten older and my sobriety has matured, I get attracted to different things. Because if I was going to the meetings now that I was going to then, and a lot of those meetings aren't even the same, I wouldn't have developed as much as a man, as an adult. And so I had to change things up. But what I learned is that my sobriety is not dependent on any meeting, sponsor, friend, place, girlfriend, look, none of that. My sobriety is my responsibility. And I was given the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and they were able to walk me through that. And they said, this is what we do. And I would watch these guys, and I watch how they'd put these things into their life and how they were implementing them. And we started to go through the book because that's how we did it. There was no psychobabble book. There was no whatever. They said, here's the book. Now we're going to study it. And we'd start at the beginning. And here's the beautiful thing about the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is that it's really methodical. It is. Go look at the big book, right? So it's like they're writing this book and they're like, all right, so what are we going to do? First thing let's do is let's have like the doctor's opinion, right? It's a doctor's opinion. If you can relate to the doctor, you're probably going to be able to relate to Bill's story, right? But if you go the doctor, F that guy, man, what does he know? I want to talk to a real alcoholic. Okay, not a problem. We got Bill's story. Right? So it's like they get you, right? They thought about that. You know what I mean? So you read this and you go, all right, okay, all right, you got me. I got a problem, right? Okay, not a problem. Because we have a solution. And you go, oh, right on, cool, we got a solution. What do we do with that? We don't always take it seriously. So we go, oh, no. All right, hold on. Before you get too excited, let's talk more about alcoholism, right? They reel you back in. They give you a little bit more, right? And then they go, you know what, now's a good time to talk about this God thing. Because if it scares them out now, maybe they're not done. Maybe they need a little bit more of what we're talking about and the more about alcoholism. So they start to talk about like the whole God thing, right? And hopefully if you go, okay, all right, that scared me even into it more, or I'm already cool in the gang and let's move forward, right? And they got how it works. Let's do some stuff here, right? And then you got the how it works, and then you got the end of the action, the what do we do, right? And then we got the working with others. We're going to carry this thing on. And from day one, these guys were teaching me about the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and they taught it to me in a way that I would later on carry someone else through that. And that's still how I work with people today. When I sit down with people, I say, I'm going to teach you what I've learned, and you're going to learn your own stuff. And we're going to go through this, so by the time we're done, you can go with another man or woman and get this book and go through it with them. Because if I don't do that, I'm failing you as a sponsor. I'm failing, in my opinion, for me, to carry the message of Alcoholics Anonymous. And there's a lot of psychobabble around here. And I understand if you have your experience, you have your experience. But there's a lot of stuff that people claim to be Alcoholics Anonymous, which is not Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, people could debate that for a long time. What is Alcoholics Anonymous? It's like two of us. Is that Alcoholics Anonymous? Is it the book? What is it? You know what I mean? But when you take a look at the book, and people say, like, don't date in the first 90 days or year. You know what I mean? Is that in the book? You know what I mean? Does it say that in the book? I mean, there are probably some really good reasons why you shouldn't, but is that Alcoholics Anonymous? Does it say 90 meetings in 90 days? Does it say that? No, it's probably a good idea that you go to some meetings, but did they have 90 meetings in 90 days when AA started? They didn't have that, you know what I mean? So it's like you got to learn the principles of what we do around here, and it's not to look cool. Because in my opinion, I've seen so many people come and go over the years that I'm not here to make you like me. I'm here so that I don't want to hurt anymore. I don't want to have to go back to drink. And if I can help someone else, good enough. Because there are people that I like and people that I don't like that have come in and gone out. And maybe they make it back. So I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm going to like say a bunch of stuff that you're going to care about. You know what I mean? This is just me. This is the raw part of it. Okay? So there's a lot of other stuff in Alcoholics Anonymous that you hear people start throwing around, right? You hear that, like, when I got sober, you had page 449, acceptance, right? People go, oh, acceptance. It's the answer to all my problems. I'm just going to accept it and accept it. Let's fucking accept it. Oh, you're fucked. Accept it. You know what I mean? It's like, no, that's not what it means, because acceptance doesn't mean fuck it. I mean, if you read what they wrote, when he said acceptance is the answer to all my problems today, when he was talking about that, he means you have to accept the reality, the truth of your situation. And once you go, yeah, I'm fucked, now you got work to do, man. That's what he did. Now there's work to do. So when you say, I accept it, guess what, buddy? You got work to do. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of work to do around here, but people take that. And this is just me. This is just me. I've never heard anyone else be able to say this. But when I came in, I'd heard people say, like, yeah, we're going to love you until you learn to love yourself. I was like, well, you're an asshole. They'd be like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, so when I learn to love myself, you're just going to, like, toss me aside? They're like, no, that's not what we meant. I'm like, that's what you said. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that people talk about from the podium where it's like think about what you're saying, because here's the thing. I don't want to sit here and think that anything that I've done has driven anyone out, but the truth is that might be true. Because if I can sit up here, and so our program talks about that we can save the lives of other people when we don't have the frothy emotional appeal. We have one alcoholic talking to another. I'm going to share with you. You can connect. You do the stuff that we do around here, and you can recover. You will no longer suffer from the obsession to want to drink. That lives can be saved. If lives can't be saved in here by doing what we do, we wouldn't be doing this. So we have a responsibility, all of us. Maybe some people are like, oh, I'm not a big sponsorship guy, I'm not this guy, I'm not that guy, I'm a coffee maker guy. It's like, okay, fine. But even as the coffee maker guy or the butt picker upper guy, we all have a responsibility to know what is this thing that we're a part of. What is Alcoholics Anonymous? What is this? Where does this come from? Now, I love history. So I read all the forewords and all that stuff, you know what I mean? I go through it page by page with my sponsor, you know what I mean? And he's like, oh yeah, that guy, no, this was his name, you know what I mean? I'm one of those AA nerds, you know? Like, I love that stuff. Now, you might not need to know all that stuff, but when the new man or woman walks in here and you start shooting them a bunch of frothy emotional appeal because you haven't done this, you might be killing someone. And that's not what AA is about. We're about trying to help people. Just carrying the message. I want to make myself available to you. Now, maybe someone in here is getting it, maybe they're not. And I love conferences because I honestly believe that there are people in these kinds of environments that will hear something that will change the way they see about their lives, and their life will be saved. I believe that stuff like that happens here. I know that in my own experience, when I had gotten sober, I was a year sober, and they said, dude, there's young people staying sober. I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I went down to the young people's meeting, and I started hanging out with young people, and I was like, thank God they didn't send me down here first, because it just would have been bad news, you know what I mean? Because young people kind of did it weird. And I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of history about the context of where you are at tonight in this meeting. Is that when I got sober, and it was August 18th of 1994, and a couple years later, when I had found the young people that were in Orange County, there wasn't a whole lot going on. There was like one dance every week in Anaheim, you know, and it was ghetto, but it was fun. And that's what we did. That was it. That was the thing to do. There was nothing else, right? And ICIPA, the International Conference of Young People, came to town, and the young people were like, oh, hell no. That is not how we should be represented at an international level in Orange County. So what happened is the young people in Orange County came together, and we said, what can we do? What can we do to make our county better? Because we have a lot of strong sobriety, but we're not unified. And they decided to unify themselves through bidding for the Young People's Conference, ACIPA, the All California Young People's Conference. It's our state conference. And so they came together and they created AOKIPA. I know that for the old people, they're like, what the fuck are all these PAs? But like, don't worry. It's good stuff, man. So it's like, and if it wasn't for that stuff, you wouldn't be in this room tonight. You'd be paying $19,000 to listen to someone give their canned pitch. I don't know who it is. That was nothing personal. I'm just saying, because here's the thing, is before we had that, the young people, we'd come to the Orange County Convention, and we could smoke. So we'd be smoking we'd be fucking chain smoking, playing cards and dominoes, you know what I mean? They didn't have any young people stuff. People didn't want to drive home, so they have the little water stations with the skirts, like the one back there, and people would just go under there and sleep. You know what I mean? I saw the staff move a table one time, and some kids scurried out like animals. You know what I mean? They're like, what the fuck is that? Like, and then they were like, oh, they said you can't smoke in the hotel anymore. So we go up top in the little like valet, and we just, chain smoke. We're playing dominoes in the air. It's like, we just wanted a place to go. And the people at the time, they were like, get out. Get out. If you don't have a room, or if you're not in a meeting, you gotta go. And there was some altercations that happened, because we were like, come on, like, we just want a place, because like we can't afford the main meeting, dude. We can't afford to pay for the dance. Like, fuck, cut us some slack. And it was F you for a while. But once the AOKIPA and the young people started getting together, the people saw like, hey, these young people, they're not that bad. And they started coming together. It took years, and now they start to work together on stuff. And like this meeting here tonight, like, man, if this meeting was here when I got sober, man, I'd have been stoked. This thing's been like, what, 15, 20 years in the coming? This meeting here tonight? It's a big deal that this meeting is here, that they're giving us this space, that you can come into a meeting while that meeting is going on. If you don't want to have to buy the dinner or do that whole thing, you can come in here. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that you're here, because I wouldn't want to pay either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, give me some fucking top ramen and a bad pitch, and I'm good. But like, I don't need all that. That's all the fancy and here's the other thing too. I'm going to talk about this for a second, the tie, right? Because like a lot of us are young. Is when I was new, I was at Sioux Beach Speakers, and me and my sponsor, we were the cleanup people, right? And this homeless lady came in the back during the meeting, and everyone knew that she was there because she was kind of coming in and going out, right? And I was working at a mail store at the time, and I would wear a suit and tie. And my sponsor, he was just kind of like a normal dude, but he was like a guitar playing guy, so he had like long hair, and it's like kind of hippie, like whatever. It was the 90s. Everything was grunge still, I think. And so after the meeting, we lock up, and she's there. And she was just like, help. And so we sat and we talked with her for like a while, and she wanted what we had. She had heard it. And she wanted to get sober then. He was like, we're going to get you in a place tonight. And my sponsor crossed the street and he went to the payphone in the liquor store and he started calling places, right? And I'd been around a little bit already, so I knew the deal. And I started talking to her. And in a couple of minutes, she just said, stop. Well, I was like, eh? I was like, what do you mean stop? And she said, look, I understand you're trying to help me, but look at how you're dressed. I can't, look at me. Look at you. I can't get past how nice you're dressed. I could talk to him, but I can't talk to you. And I was like, fuck, the way I'm dressed for this lady, it was getting in the way. It was getting in the way. And so a lot of times I'd go to meetings where I'm like, I don't want to dress up. I don't need to impress some old timers to get on a speaker circuit. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? So, Pat says suit and tie. It's like, all right, suit and tie, because that's what we do when you come up here and you're representing Alcoholics Anonymous. You know what I mean? But trust me, within like an hour, I'm going to be in like some jeans and some Chuck Taylors. You know what I mean? Little V-neck, little, you know what I mean, plaid shirt. Like, I'm a normal guy just like you, right? This is just so it's like, hey. Anyways, so it's like, how much time? All right, so I got like 5 or 10 minutes. All right, so let's go on some rants here. So it's like, okay. What did I get to do sober? I got to get a job. Man, I've had some messed up jobs in AA, dude. I don't think I've ever had a normal job. And if it was normal when I found it, it wasn't normal when I left it, right? Like my first job, I was working for this mail store. Like I said, I was in a suit and tie every day, and the lady was drunk all the time. And she'd come out of a blackout and be like, why'd you do this? I'd be like, I didn't, you did. It was really weird. And then I got to go work at like a video editing place, and I got into the whole production thing, and that was fun. And like, I don't know why. Oh, I got out of that to go to film school. Big mistake, whatever. Like, leave the industry to go to school. Anyway, so I went back to school, and then like, man, what did I do? I was a loan officer once. Sorry, I tried to help. So if you got screwed, I'm sorry, it wasn't me. It was these guys sitting to my left and right. I was doing construction inspection, like waking up every day at 5 a.m. And I'm not a 5 a.m. kind of guy. I'm gonna go to bed at 5 a.m. kind of guy. Like if the infomercials are on, I got an hour to go. You know what I mean? But like, wake up at 5 a.m.? Are you fucking kidding me? So it's like, I've had all kinds of weird jobs. And now like, my dad worked in real estate. So it's like, I gotta work with him. I gotta help my dad. I don't even really like real estate. But because when I was drinking, I was so detached from my family and I wasn't there for them and I was not a part of, I get to be a part of today. I work with my dad doing what he does because he needs the help and he doesn't know how to ask for it. So I do that. I also do other stuff. I get to be a DJ and work with a friend of mine who owns another company. I get to do all this stuff, and none of it probably looks good from the outside. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's nice. I mean, I make enough to get by, I guess. I'm not rich. I'm not a millionaire, but it's a good living. And I thought to myself sometimes, I was like, I like nice things. I want a house on Catalina Island, Balboa Island, a nice 60-foot Hatteras yacht. Probably not going to happen, But what am I most comfortable with? I'm most comfortable with myself and the people that I have in my life. And no amount of money is going to make me feel better than that. And that's the absolute truth. I love my friends, and I love the people I know inside Alcoholics Anonymous and the people outside Alcoholics Anonymous. I feel incredibly rich today, and I get to be a son today. There was a long time I blamed my parents for my alcoholism, and let me tell you, today I love my parents more than anything in this world. I absolutely love my parents. I don't expect them to be anything other than who they are, with all their imperfections. My sister, her husband, her kids, all my family, my grandma and grandpa, like everyone. Like, I get to be a part of today, and I get to be there. My cousin, who's 4 years older than me, last year I found out she had a drinking problem. She'd been bouncing in and out of AA. And every time I go up to Sacramento, I get to sit down and talk with her. And I just get to be an example. I get to be an example to my older cousin. This guy that wanted to fucking kill himself, that just wanted to kill you just to watch your face. Like, that guy? You know what I mean? Are you sure? But like, it's happening. You know, like it's a good life today. You know, there are other things. For a long time in AA, I was just like, yo, I just want to have fun, and we have fun. And I'm gonna end it pretty soon. It seems like every time I look down, I have like 5 more minutes. Anyways, just kick me. All right, no, seriously, because all right. So young people service, right? I got into the whole ACIPA stuff and the international convention. I got into that stuff, and I hid for a long time in service work. I had a lot of big titles. Like if you're into that stuff, man. Johnathan's just big dick swinging on his fucking YPA resume. You know what I mean? Like, beat me, guys. You know what I mean? But meanwhile, everyone else would be like, oh, let's go get another degree. Let's go get a career. Let's go get married. Let's go have some kids. Let's, like, grow up. And I'm like, I'm hanging out in young people's service work, just hiding. And you can't call me on my irresponsibility because look at my title, bitches. You know what I mean? And I think most of the people saw through it at the time, but it's like, I look back years later, I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, holy shit, like, I'm 36 now. Fuck, you know what I mean? Like, I'm 36. Like, I gotta get my shit together because I don't want to be a player no more. Anyways, what I want to do is like, I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to do that whole thing. I want to be a dad. I want to do that. And it's like, I wanted to be young for so long, I almost missed the whole, like, adulthood thing. But, like, I want to grow old in AA. I want to die in AA. I do. Like, I'm sorry for the meeting that has to experience this, but if it was up to me, the day I die, I want to eat waffles at Cappy's off PCH, the best waffles, right? And then the meeting I go to that night when we're all praying out, I want to die right before that. Like, front row status, you know what I mean? And everyone goes, he's dead. And everyone will know, take my old, dead, cold hands and pray my dead body out. Like, to me, that would just, you know what I mean? I'm like, come on, that'd be rad. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be a story. Like, this old timer died in the meeting, we prayed him out. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, so it's like, are you smoking? What is that? Oh, it's an e-cigarette. Oh, man, I'm going to pull one out, too. Anyways, no, I'm going to pull out a real one. Anyway, so it's like, remember smoking meetings? The old timers just sitting up there the whole, and then I was like, you know. Anyway, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like, so here's my thing. It's like, I'm all over the place, right? I mean, like, none of this even makes sense to fucking me. Like, I didn't thinking about this. I just drove here and was like, hopefully I can hold the pee I got to take until I'm done talking. Like, so it's like, I hope maybe if you're new, you're able to relate to something. Maybe, like, because what did we do a lot tonight? Like, maybe if you related to me and you're not an alcoholic, you're either really screwed up, you know what I mean? Or you need another program, right? And here's the other thing, and this is funny too. I see people, they come to AA, long time, and then they go, not an alcoholic. And I go, wait, you're what? Because you have that thing memorized, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you're like sponsoring, you're that guy. And then they go, not an alcoholic, just a phase. Well, here's my theory on your phase, right? If you come to AA beyond like the trial period, okay, and you stick around and later on you claim you're not an alcoholic, dude, you've got some major fucking social problems, okay? Like, you need help. So before you go back out, just stop and check yourself. Like, seriously, okay? Like, just stop and check it. So it's like, what's your excuse going to be? It was just a phase. I mean, maybe it was, but it's like, just be careful before you go out the door. So here's the thing. Regardless of where you're at right now, you're at a conference, you're surrounded by alcoholics. And if you're an alcoholic, and if you're new, or even if you're not new, even if you got time, man, and you want to do something other than just like shoot the shit, try and look cool and get laid or kicked out, you got to talk about AA. That's a fun thing to do. Go to conferences and sit there and talk to people you don't know. Hey, how do you get sober in your area? What's it like? You know what I mean? What meeting are you from? Get to know people. This is your family. This is my family, and I love you guys, and I'm glad that you're here. I mean, I'm sure that there's someone in this room that's either hurting tonight and you need help, and we can help. Or maybe there's someone in here tonight that isn't hurting right now, but they're going to hurt. Because the book talks about the certain trials and low spots, and what are we to do? We need to have that contact with the higher power, with the God of our understanding. We need to have that, and sometimes we find that through talking with other people, one alcoholic talking to another. So with that being said, I'd like to thank Pat for asking me to speak tonight. I'd like to thank the Orange County Convention for allowing this to take place, and I'd like to welcome you all to Alcoholics Anonymous. Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this recording. To obtain additional copies, receive a free catalog of AA and Al-Anon talks, or to find out about our tape and CD of the Month Club, call Encore Audio Archives at 1-800-878-1308 or visit our website at www.12steptapes.com.
Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with, and it's actually controlled through the iPhone through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.